ADX is in the
Went from ducking 12, now I'm ducking hell. Many times I failed, many times I prevailed. Satan on my trail, I got God, I'm doing well. Had to tell myself, I ain't taking no more L. When it sees, 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 it's coming, I believe it, huh? Watch it leave me speechless, huh? It's my winning season, huh? Flexing on my demons, huh? Knew the Lord was scheming, wasn't down for no reason, huh? My mood this whole season, Michael Jackson, Billie Jean, and I came from the bottom of the pot. When I got saved, I was on the block. I got locked with bags in my sock. I got bagged by undercover cops. Up the street from the parking lot. On the way to the barber shop. I'm just grateful that I made it out. Ain't see myself off the paper route. Still got homies living in the trenches. I feed homeless women on the benches. We treat all year like Thanksgiving. On the block, I made a great decision. Then somebody tell me I ain't winning. I got youngins changing how they feeling. Instead of telling them to stop sinning, I just show a better way of living. They still ducking 12. Still bust shells, still bust sales. Look at them numbers on the scale. Me, I'm ducking hell. Try all the one I feel. I say I turn a wheel when I with my life on the scale.
I'd rather go to war against my own government. I would never die for America. Black in America. When you black in America, feeling trapped in America. Fair shooting first, black lives, they don't give a damn, so you gotta stay strapped in America. Black in America. They don't understand what we go through. I don't give a damn what they told you. They be lying in the media. Don't believe none of what you hear, only half what they show you. Black in America. When you black in America, this is not for America. Black in America. When you black in America, this is not for America. I've already struck out cause I'm old and black. I'm destined for jail cells and hearses. Lord, that's all they see for my future. My options, I play ball or rap. They think we not equal to them. Well, let me be the first one to see sorrow rules. Cause we ain't got time for the small talk. I come from the city where the crooked niggas dwell. Feds come run away or get put in a cell. Lord show me heaven cause we living in this hell. Trying to stay afloat still bringing in them bills. Cause it's no jobs for a black man. They see us better as the trap man. Ride strapped in the mad black van. They ain't gotta tell us tap dance for a laugh now. They just kick back, watch us die over crack stand. Somebody help us, please help us now. If they can't control us, they just gun us down. They recruit them soldiers and knowing the war was for nothing, then come home and patrol the towns. And we ain't no better, we don't make it better by killing our neighbors. We idolize paper, we spend it, we chase it. But you ever looked at them bills? These the same motherfuckers who hate us. No, they don't give a fuck about me or you. They tell us shit like stay focused and count your blessings. An honest message is one of the biggest lies that ever been televised. We can start with 9/11. Oh, they sleeping, the truth right here. You can never live a day in these nightmares. We them niggas America might fear. White man, reality is a nightmare when you black in America. When you black in America, this is not for America. I'd rather go to war against my own government. I would never die for America. Black in America. times, they don't give a damn, so you gotta stay strapped in America. Black, they don't understand what we go through. I don't give a damn what they told you. They be lying in the media, don't believe none of what you hear, and only half what they show you. Black in America, when you black in America, this is not for America. Black in America, when you black in America, this is not for America. Black in America. Like a week ago on MLK steps, and I can't say that in 20 years. Too much change, it's all the same. These niggas sell a soul in exchange for the diamond rings, the lights of fame. But what can I say, man? It's the price of fame. Things for being the president.
Accept that request.
What up, ABX family? We here. You know what it is. You got JD over there in the building. Pounds. We got Sam over here visiting us today. And some other folks. Bub, Leah. We here today. You know, 3-part series starting today. Love over lust, the male and female dynamic. The rest of the team is on their way. And let's get this show started.
Well, first off, good job. That's unexpected. I apologize. I was trying to get the live set up on Instagram because obviously we're running a little behind. Had a family emergency with my man over there. So my apology. Ma, we're here. Nothing was wrong. That's one of our group, mothers. So nevertheless, like you said, we're about to get started with this love versus lust, the male versus female dynamic. We have a few guests coming in. Like you said, the fellas are behind. Again, but Nutty is also bringing his wife, Raina, with him, I believe. And we have my brother, Bubby, over in the corner. Can we get them a shot? And his girlfriend, Aaliyah. And I think we have action people. Before they come in, Sam, again, y'all know Sam. She's part of ABX, our official photographer. And I'm going to cut that off because we got a feedback coming. And obviously the kids are here. Jade, say hello, babe. Hi. Jacob, I want to give a shout out to Connect to the Bridge, Doc. We love you. We appreciate you. All our mothers, the wife, love you. Anybody forgetting? If I'm forgetting you, charge it to my mind, not my heart. I appreciate you. Oh, Siobhan Davis, y'all know my best friend, also co-host. She is going to the Ronald McDonald House today. She's also going December 8th. She's planning on feeding 80 families. We, as ABX, are also joining her to do that as well. But I would absolutely ask that you check out her page. It's awesome Ashton, or awesome Ashton Katie on Instagram. But also I got Carrie Fever on Instagram so that you can support that movement. She's doing a lot, and she could absolutely use the support and the help, and not necessarily financially, just the bodies. That said, Stan, do we need to take a quick break, or we just going to walk them? Oh, well, we're going to take a minuscule break. Sorry, y'all.
I mean that shit. Because these white folks see us as thugs. I don't care what y'all think. I don't care if you think you a lawyer, if you a man, if you an African American, if you whatever the fuck you think you are. We thugs and niggas to these motherfuckers. You know? And until we own some shit, I'ma call it like it is. How you gonna be a man if we start?
When you black in America, when you black in America, this is not for America. I'd rather go to war against my own government. I would never die for America. Black in America, when you black in America, feel trapped in America. Fair shooting first, black lives, they don't give a damn, so you gotta stay strapped in America. Black in America. They don't understand what we go through. I don't give a damn what they told you. They be lying in the media, don't believe none of what you hear, and only half what they show you. Black in America, when you black in America, this is not for America. Black in America, when you black in America, this is not for America. Black in America, cause I'm old and black. I'm destined for jail cells and hearses, Lord, that's all they see for my future. My options, I play ball or rap. They think we not equal to them, well, let me be the first one to cease all the rules. Cause we ain't got time for the small talk. I come from the city where the crooked niggas dwell. Feds come run away or get put in a cell. Lord, show me heaven cause we living in this hell. Trying to stay afloat, still bringing in them bills. Cause it's no jobs for a black man. They see us better as the trap man. Ride strapped in the mad black van. They ain't gotta tell us how to dance for a laugh now. They just kick back, watch us die over crack stand. Somebody help us, please help us now. If they can't control us, they just gun us down. They recruit them soldiers and know when the war was for nothing, then come home and patrol the town. And we ain't no better, we don't make it better by killing our neighbors. We idolize paper, we spend it, we chase it, but
Good
you ever
afternoon.
looked at them bills, it's the same.
Better. I feel like we're whole now. So, Abstrakt Xcilence is in the building. Black Love.
Yes.
Got him.
And I really was getting ready to respond to that.
But hold on, before we, Nutty's back. My man, he's healthy, he's good. Back in the building.
Appreciate that.
So, as y'all know, as I just said, we about to dive into the topic, but Wright also wasn't here last week, my man Black Love. So, week before last.
Welcome
so
back,
I told
Bree. I appreciate it. You know, I got you later.
So I'm going to hand off for him to walk into the building.
Okay, well, I wasn't here. First of all, I'd like to say, guys, tremendous show. I watched it. It was a tremendous show. But if you didn't see the show was about, what was the
Court case with, I forget his name.
Yeah, I forget his name. That's why I threw it to you. I forgot his name for a moment. But
Mr. Brown. So we're gonna go with, and the whole forgiveness and the unprofessional judge. But I'm sorry, I should not have said that because it's gonna lead somewhere. So yes, that's what it was about.
Right.
Yeah.
I wasn't here. I'm not gonna make it long. I just want to say my piece about that. I heard the guys and what they were talking about, and I would have to lean towards more Malcolm with the I couldn't hug her at that moment. You know, I couldn't do, me personally, I can't speak for everyone else, but me personally, I couldn't hug her at that moment. And I also agree with Jermaine as far as the judge and the bailiff and whoever else was there, they were out of line. And I truly didn't like that. Other than that, I'm not going to speak too much on that because we have another subject that we want to get into, and I don't want to hold that up. So. But I just wanted to just make that clear on my view on that I really didn't appreciate that. And if you see me, I didn't appreciate that.
And also, let me say, because I'm looking at it, it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, so I always try to touch on it the last show, but you see how Pink, we've been coordinating Pink in different shows. You know, I've had it on both shows in that feud show before. And Bree, I didn't know Bree.
Yeah, I could wear pink.
He was giving me he's a dark guy with all this pink on. Nevertheless, I'm sorry. But
take it
it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, man. So to all those survivors, all those dealing with it, we love you, we support you, we appreciate you. Keep up the fight. To all those ladies, get yourself checked. Stay aware.
Please
Save
get checked.
the
Please
top
get
tops.
checked.
We appreciate you all. Congratulations, Nats. Congrats, Mystics.
World Series.
Yes.
Mystics.
Congrats, Mystics.
As well. Yeah.
I'm not talking about any other DC team.
I won't clap for the only for the Nats.
Yeah, we're not talking about any other DC team. We're going right into the topic. And hope right on schedule. Let's see where we are. Okay.
Yes, they are in the playoffs.
They are.
Let's get yourself together. So, as I said, we're going love versus lust. And I know we ain't got a whole lot of time, so we're gonna do what we do. So, yesterday we had a pre-show meeting, as always, nothing out of the ordinary. And we talked about some things, and the key word for which y'all know I love the word accountability was what we really were talking about. So we have a few different dynamics going on here. I personally this is a 3-part series, so I want to let everybody kind of get their dynamics out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw a question out, let everybody answer.
Okay.
First things first. I'm going to start with you.
I knew
and then
that.
y'all can go on.
It had to be me, huh? We're going to alphabetical order. Appreciate it.
What does marriage mean to you?
Starting from that conversation last night.
You know what? No, take that back. That'll be the third question.
You're going to throw that a different question. Okay.
Because I forgot this one. What does being a man mean to you? And then we can go on.
Okay. Well, being a man to me is honestly what I personally feel. This is my personal feelings on being a man. Being a man is basically a man that's taking care of his family. Not by any means necessary, because there are legal ways of doing it and there's illegal ways of doing it, but the protector of his family. You do what you need to do. You go to work every day. You take care of your family. You take care of your kids, as far as spiritually, financially, emotionally, and that's, to me, what a man's supposed to do.
Okay. Nephew, when you hear man, what is that? Male versus man. Because there is a difference. We've discussed that already. We keep going back to that. There's a vast majority of males walking the face of the earth versus. So, go ahead.
So what I think as a man is, from just as seeing it, is basically somebody that's a role model to somebody else, and not leading them to the right direction, but guiding them to where they see their potential is at. Always being there, not just a family man, but somebody like a community man that's always looking out for the youngins.
A leader.
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
Somebody that's stepping up to the plate.
Being a man, it's plenty of things.
Mike,
to the mic.
yeah. Just grab it.
Oh, well.
Pause.
There you go. Well, definition of man to me is an umbrella rule. People that's familiar with the household, the umbrella rule is man, woman, kids.
I like
or,
that.
Yeah, if somebody is in the community, that person is a wealth of resource. As in this world, you're supposed to leave
Well
empty.
put.
So if you're a man, if you don't have that umbrella rule, you also giving back to grow the community around you. So you got to change the atmosphere every time you step on. As soon as you wake up, man, you step on that earth, you're changing the atmosphere you're at. So that's what a man means to me.
That word resource. We're gonna come back to that, but go ahead.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I'm not a man. Clearly.
Your opinion is valued because you are. That is exactly yes. I've been waiting for that.
Okay, so I had to pull back because, and I had to pull out my cell phone because I don't always remember scripture verbiage by verbiage, but I wanted to make sure we put this verse in there. It's 1 Timothy 5:8 says, "But if any provide not for his own, and especially for those of his own house, he hath denied the faith and is worse than an infidel." So anyone who doesn't provide for his family, and any person that doesn't provide for their family is an infidel, and not worthy. So when I think of that, when I think of what is a man, just from my perspective and from what I've experienced, is I do see men as more providers and protectors. But me being myself and looking at it biblically, I'm a helpmate as well. I'm also able to help in that aspect as well.
Okay. And we're going. Hold on. I said resources was the word there, and it's okay because I brought it. Saved it. Yeah. Go ahead, man.
I think being a man to me is obviously a provider for his family, but also a man is the backbone of his family. Like, he's vulnerable when he needs to be. He admits his faults, his flaws. Just like whenever his family down, he picks him up. Like he just somebody that's always there to help any situation.
Sam?
So for me, a man is, when I think of the word man, I just think about what I grew up around. I grew up around some of the best examples of what a man should be. My father and my brother. They're providers, help out in the community, just well-rounded, honest men. A lot of honesty, comes with them. And growing up, like you said, Jermaine, there are a lot of males that walk this earth, but I always think back to the characteristics of my father and my brother, and that's where I can distinguish between
What, male versus man?
male.
Distinguish. I like that. Stan the man. Not that I wasn't cutting you off. I ain't gonna cut you off. Yeah. Stan the man. Get to it, baby.
Man. Man is acronym Master, Able, and Noble.
It is.
Yes. And man is likened to the sun. He is the enlightener. He is the mind of the people. And he is the enforcement.
Enforcement. Okay. No, it's not me yet.
Oh. I have to get up a little under the weather, but like Jordan in the 76ers game, I'm put up 38 points.
Oh, my Jesus. He's about to put up 38 points.
Probably in the third quarter, he's still going to lose the game.
For me, a man isn't defined as just one thing. Like, you have to put everything that everybody said together in order to be a man, because it depends what hat you need to wear for that day. Because you might not need to be the protector for that day. You might need to just be, a shoulder to cry on, or a sensitive, part of that relationship, because she might not be feeling well. So for me, your job as a man in a relationship is to better that person. It might not be financially. She might make more than me, so I might not need to be able to provide a house and rent and car because she has all of that. So it depends on what the situation calls for. That's what a man is when you're able to adapt and take care of business however need be.
All righty.
Different hat for that. Man. I like
So, first off, thank y'all for smoothly getting through that. So I was not just in my phone playing around. I was taking notes. I was keywords, things that popped out. From everybody. So this is what I had. So resource provider, accountable, example, leader, distinguished, noble, enlightener, enforcer, versatile, able to adapt, better, to make better. So all these things, right? And you hit it on the head. You kind of stole my thunder a little bit. You have the rap.
I tell you, Jordan, 38 points.
Every one of these words make up what a man should be, per se. But I think she went to the scripture on me, like that establishment. I think we had a discussion yesterday where everybody kind of gave their view, right? Which is absolutely fair because we have freedom of rights. But if we take and we start giving power to each opinion, then we have chaos. There's just no order. So if we have no baseline or foundation to actually draw from in terms of what are we setting? What's the foundation we setting for our children? What's the foundation we setting as friends? What is betrayal? What is loyalty? So we have no foundation to go by that we can all look at this column and say, okay, you know what? This is the checklist for which we have to go by to say we on top. You know what I'm saying? We know what we got to do, and that's even with what we're doing with this. Like there's certain things we have to do to make sure we execute the vision. That said, we can't go into being men and saying, well, I'm a man because I say I'm a man, when all these words clearly are action words, objectives that focus on what you do for others. Anybody know?
Somewhat,
Yeah, that's why I didn't, because I'm
May I
trying
add
to
something?
over it.
Because
No,
I
but
was
I
gonna
let
add
me
something
go.
to say-
When she goes, but
There-
I want to hear your opinion. What's your definition of a man? 'Cause
Okay,
you never really
okay,
gave your definition.
okay.
But
So-
I was just gonna say to what you were saying, there has to be a purpose in it, right? You can't just be born a man and just be a man, right?
Exactly.
You have to have some type of purpose and some type of subject to it. And I think we kind of talked about. I kind of mentioned it to you. It's subjective to what it is, and so you can't just be a man to wood, right? Because it's wood, right? Wood is controlled by forces outside of your control. But you have to have some type of purpose and subject in order for you to be the provider, to do all those things that you said. There has to be something for you to do it to and for. So there has to be a purpose behind it.
Well, it's funny. Perfect segue. Because he asked me a question. You can go ahead. And I want to ask this question. He asked because I didn't technically define what I feel a man. He asked me that question. She just said something that perfectly defines it. Actually, I get what you're saying because you do, but and we aren't born men. We're born males. And I think what he and I, we were discussing yesterday, and part of that is, part of becoming a man is, like you just said, it becomes a thing of, I looked in the mirror and I said, what am I doing with myself, right? And not because I'm not happy or because I'm not having fun, but because you're right, I have people that count on me. Whether, for me, it's my wife and kids, but for whoever, it may be, my nephew's 21, but those is cousins. They look up to him, so he don't have any kids. But he understands based on the way that we run my house that you have an example to stand up to because I set the example for you. You set the example for them. That's how you change the cycle, not necessarily break it. So as a man, I feel accountability is the most important tool because that when we grow from males to men is when that light cuts on. It's the light in the mirror that makes you say, you know what? I could get away with it, but everything in the dark comes to light. And they going to eat what I poop, so to speak. Not me. They're going to eat what I mean, I understand it's a bit graphic, but that's why I say it that way. It's realistic. As parents, we have to understand that you're not going to reap what you sow. Your kids are going to reap what you sown because the seeds that you plant, you may not even be able to eat, but they're going to eat that. Trust me. So whatever it is that you've done in the dark, so don't ask me questions like why. Anywho, I'm not gonna go there right now. My man, go ahead.
Now go ahead, finish what you.
No, I just wanted to make sure I did that.
Oh well,
I got it. Yeah, trust me.
Well, one thing I wanted to say is I said something real key when I said men are likened to the light principle, that we're likened to the sun. If you look at what our ancestors had to say, all of those principles that we all said about a man are embodied in the principles and attributes of the sun. The sun provides for everybody and everything, even woods, plants, nature, animals. It gives its own life so that we could be here, period. It lights a path for us. It also is the enforcer. You can't have germination in sunlight. You can't have fungi in sunlight. None of those things, they're done away by sunlight. Also, sunlight provides vitamin, nutrient, everything. In our universe, in nature, the man principle in nature is the sun. The woman principle is the moon. So when we study our ancestral history, they use what's called personification, and they personify nature to understand best how we could, achieve our highest ability.
Perfect segue, because the next question is you brought up the women and the moon. Obviously, if you ask what it means for you to be a man, then we have to cover female. Yeah. So what and I want to.
I think also you said accountability plays a big part. I think the matureness plays a big part as well.
Word.
Like
They go hand in hand.
But
you think they go hand in hand? Maturity comes with accountability.
You can't have accountability.
Yeah, well, so it goes hand in hand.
That's true. That's true.
You gotta
Maturation.
think if a man not mature and he's doing things to hurt his family, then he's not a man. He's just a male. Like at some point, you gotta realize what you do don't just affect you. It affects your family as well.
Which is true.
That's the reap and sow principle I was referring to. Yeah.
Right.
So getting back to the question, which was woman, right? So, what? Before we go into this, because we have obviously more males here than females, fellas. I'm not sure.
Pass me on the first one. I had to think about that one.
Okay.
This is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do. Take one of these questions here, right? And read it out loud, and then we're going to get to the whole female thing. You take one.
A man that cannot be manipulated by sex intimidates a woman because now she must really bring something of some value to the table.
Pause.
Oh,
I did that for.
Oh, okay. That's what we're doing today.
For exactly the reason. Do one more, and then I'm gonna tell y'all why I'm doing this.
My brain locked in on that one. But go ahead.
Not every man wants sex. Some need your brain and attitude to support their dreams. So polish your brain more than your face.
Okay.
That
Did
like
not
a shot.
did not exactly. I didn't do that as a shot at women.
Right.
I didn't even do that to really get to the question with it. I did that because you can understand this is what we're living in. This is the time we're living in. You see these memes, you see these things. Some scorn male probably created it, or some whatever, however it goes.
The bitter man.
I use that as a sense to say this is the problem. We have this competition when we shouldn't be competing against one another. We need one another as male and female. That's why God said something went right when he put male to sleep to create female. Understand that point. So in saying that, you have to understand that it's tough. The dynamics are tough. I just stated this in terms of marriage. It's not an easy go by any sense. It's war, literally, because you're trying to put two people together to become one.
Or more.
So, when thinking that and understanding that compassionately as a male, I'm sorry, as a man, because I know I'm a grown man. I think we sometimes judge their plot and not understand the emotional side of that or the logical side of that. So that's that situation which he just read. I don't necessarily believe that it's true or false one way or the other. It's just to give you the dichotomy of where we are right now in terms of mindset and what men think of women and what women think of men. Yes, there you go. So we can't come together as a community if at first it's definitely gonna be 3 shows. If at first we can't unify together. So now, what does being a woman mean to you?
Oh.
You
want to start? You know what? We can start that way.
We get it good. Go that way. I got to give it some. I'm honest. I got to give it some thought.
I want to say something about the statements that were made first. I believe that, there's a lot of truth in a lot of things that we don't acknowledge as a people. I think people might say stuff harshly, but there's some truth in it. You know what I mean? Like, if you look at basically what our ancestors had to say about, the man and the woman and gender and polarity in nature, basically, a woman would automatically look at a man and relegate a man to a function in her life because that's her nature. You know what I mean? So I think we get offended by that. And if you don't know what you bring to the table, you won't understand what function you play in her life. So, you know what I mean? If you've been relegated to just sex already, then that means that you don't serve a higher purpose or a higher function. You know what I mean? And that's got something to do with us just as much as it has to do with her, and vice versa. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of women have a lot to say about us that we don't take seriously. You know what I mean? So it's I think that the war of the sexes is just lack of communication. People are really saying what's really on their heart and mind, but the other can't take it. You know what I mean? But what I find crazy is that we'll go to other races and be even more abused by them and accept that. Oh yeah, I see a lot of sisters with white guys getting abused. Seriously,
that might be another.
That's another topic.
And I see this. I see this.
Got deep right there.
I see a lot of brothers on the same way.
You're gonna take us somewhere. We're gonna be
all right, respect. But woman, what I believe woman is the lunar principle, and the moon, and woman is a refiner and a sustainer. A woman keeps something going. If you want your company to last forever, you don't get a man. You go get a woman, and she'll keep your company alive. A man will take your company to new places, but he has trouble sustaining something that he can't be creative in. Oh, I want to do this. I want to reinvent this. A woman will be on that bottom line for dear life. We got to make this quota, or it ain't what it is. You know, a woman is a sustainer by nature.
Yeah, hold on, because we got to keep it in order. So you should have been going first anyway, because it should have been this and then that way. So we're gonna go around the room. So go ahead, Pounds, and then Sam will go to you.
As far as a woman goes, with today's women, with the new women, and this is not a knock, and I understand your views, but you don't know how to be a woman, because I hear a lot of, I don't need a man to do this. I can be independent, do this. I can do this myself. It's not that you're not able to, but what is your place in the relationship? If you're supposed to, if I'm taking the helm and I'm leading, then I need somebody to follow up and make sure that caboose is still attached.
Right.
I need for you to make sure that when I go off course, you're sitting there saying, you know what, you made a left. Let's make this next, right to get back where we need to be. And it's not that you're behind me or that you're beneath me. It's that you are, like Stan said, if you're Earth, if you're my Earth, and I need to revolve around you instead of you revolving around me and making me feel or belittling me because they have a new movement out that says women are supposed to do this or women are supposed to do this. Do what works for you and your family.
It is.
It doesn't matter, age, sex. It's what you're supposed to do being a woman. Like even the older generation, our mothers, they were single women. But the one thing we all can agree on is they were women.
Real women.
Yes, they might have.
In every sense of the word.
At a certain aspect, to them, it wasn't stepping into a man's role to take care of us, to go to work, to get up and clean.
They did
to go
their
cook
job.
dinner.
That's all they worried about.
They did what a woman was supposed to do, which
Yeah.
kept us going forward. That's how we were able to become
And
men
we learned how to
because
become
of the
men. That's what I
women
was
in our
saying yesterday.
lives.
You feel me? Because actually, well, I can't. We might start here. Go ahead, Sam. I'm sorry. We're gonna talk.
No, we good.
I see you think
So
you could.
the definition of a woman is about to overlap what I just said for the definition of a man. A real woman to me is a provider for her family, both financially and also domestically as well too. So like I said, I grew up with the best example of a woman. I am a replication of my mother. My mom was the person that worked over 40 hours per week, but we came home to a full course meal at dinner. We cleaned up every day. She provided for us, period. And just watching her, mimicking her is the woman that I grew up into today. Now, when you talk about relationships, a lot of people will say, I'm married to a woman. A lot of people say, oh, Sam, you probably the man in a relationship. No. I'm still the woman in the relationship because I'm the one who works over 40 hours per week and I still provide a full course meal for my family every night because that's what I grew up replicating. Now, if something is broken in the house, my wife fixing it.
Before we get to nugget, I want to so Sam, as you said, she's married to a woman. I asked her here because she already knew the different dynamics. I didn't want to kind of point to that and put light, but I wanted her to speak on it. She just did. So I think the dynamic of what you're saying, actually thank you for the input. However, something else you said that I want us all to come back to after we finish commenting. You said you saw. We talked about something yesterday. We don't all have that. So I want us to talk about what happens when you don't have something to see. But go ahead, Nutty. Go ahead.
To me, a woman is also a provider. She's she's like a blanket. Like she's loving, caring, just like someone that believes in you, like give you all the strength that you need to do whatever it is you want to do, and just have your back at all times. That's what a woman is for me.
So I was sitting over here looking up a few things. Of course, everyone goes to Proverbs 31, 10, into the end of that chapter, 20, is it 21? But then I was also thinking about Ephesians 5, where it talks about wives, submit yourselves to your husbands. And we're looking at submission and how... so let me backtrack, because I'm talking, and I have a lot of thoughts about this. Because I heard what he said, and I heard what everybody said, and I had to be like, ooh. I had to filter my thoughts a little bit so that I make sure I articulate it in a proper manner, because I have two different ways that I'm going to go with it. One, as a woman, yes, we can be providers, we can be sustainers, we can be helpers, but we are helpmates, right? We are technically, and we're built to be partners in a partnership. So yes, as we have been, we are providers. We do take care. We are the caretakers. We do that. We also manage. However, at the same token, we have to have a partner, right? So if you talked about women these days. The problem is women these days don't have partners to help them. And so if you really look at it, that dynamic, yeah, it starts with a man being a man who has partnered with a proper helpmate. So if you have a man who isn't properly being a man and he's picked an improper mate, neither of y'all are going to work it out. And then you're going to raise children who aren't going to work it out. And it's going to be a continuous cycle of people who don't know how to work it out because nobody knows how to be what they are. And so, and that's why I was struggling to say what is really a woman. Woman really is a helpmate to the man. And biblically designed, that's why we're supposed to leave, cleave, and weave. It says that biblically. And so if we are to leave, cleave, and weave, then that means you have to be able to weave with something that is your partner. You can't cleave or weave to anything that has no grip to it. And it has no purpose. So, it's hard. I can't go any further. I could probably talk about this because I'll go down biblically about all the women in the Bible.
You got somebody sitting beside you that looks like he's pretty antsy. So go ahead.
Yeah, he's antsy because we've had this discussion a lot.
Okay, but don't you take? Yeah, okay.
No. We had this conversation
go ahead.
a lot. We talk hours and hours a day. I walk around with my sword and shield. She walks around with the leaves and the grapes and stuff. Because at the end of the day,
I like that.
After all our scars that we got, sometimes you got to put your weapons down.
I like it
to get your mind to think. You can't have idle time. If you got your partner there that's going to sit there and help you think about your next plan, your blueprint, your strategy, build a new foundation, get you some new land, something. You got to have a good partner there that's going to help you build. Building a foundation is more important. That's a woman to me. If she could help me build a foundation and we can just grow to, like, we can own the world, figuratively speaking. Yeah, so, you gotta be able to do that with a woman. That's what a woman to me is. It's not like a business thing. Oh yeah, we spiritually came together, but now we gonna build a foundation. Let's see if we can build a foundation. Your body don't mean nothing to me. What's between your ears?
Okay, nephew.
Young buck. Let's see what's your young definition of this. I'd like to hear this one, Shawty.
Okay, so
Shawty.
My definition of a woman is somebody that got your back thick and thin, no matter what. But they'll tell you to put you in your place, though. They're not scared to tell you what's wrong, what you did wrong, or what you did right, or how to fix it. So, I had examples, 2-parent household, always see my father work, always see my mother work. But my godmother, my grandmother, and my uncle was always there. So I had role models throughout different perspectives in my life. So, and it all came up with one thing, the support and partnership and being with your best friend. That's all I hear is a woman will be your best friend, thick and thin. As long as they equal and you come in and put everything on the table. So that's what I think a woman is to me.
Oh, okay. It's my turn.
Be nice.
I mean, no, honestly, it's been said. All of y'all have said exactly what I've been thinking, sitting here thinking. But my best example for me was my mom. She's a country woman, so she has those old country values, and she instilled a lot of that in me. Now, it was funny, I was listening to something, I'm going to jump off subject just real quick. She instilled in me, like you said, she told me when I was growing up, she taught me how to cook, clean, and sew. She told me all of those things. She said her difference was because of how she grew up. She got tired of just being the household mom, you understand? So she was transitioning into this new age type of female these days, and she said, I want you to know these things so you can help your wife and it be 50-50 in the home, And so I kind of got that, but I also had uncles who were deep-rooted in the old school way of the man runs the house. So I got both sides of it. But to me, a woman is, once again, a provider, Like my mom, what she was. She worked 40 hours. She came home from a struggling job, paying her nothing, but still made the best for us. And for me to see what she did as a woman, my mom would go without, so me, my brother, my sister would have. To me, that's a woman. And also a man does that as well, but that's what I had. That was my vision of a woman. She went above and beyond to make sure her kids have, whether it be educational, clothing, food, whatever, in a household. You know, so only that's.
You going? I'll let you fly some of that. Go ahead.
I just want to make one comment to some of the themes that you put in, right? I think I mentioned last night how, I had been single for a very long time before I met Bubby, right? But a lot of things, I have one of my best friends, we've been friends since middle school, it's male. And we have a great friendship. He's met, Bubby and everything. And so one thing he would always tell me, because I don't wear a lot of makeup, if any, unless I'm going somewhere. And I just kind of like throw on some clothes and go there. I don't ever dress myself up, right? But he would always say, men are visual, men are visual. Right. And so you bring this quote and saying, oh, take the makeup off, but you're visual. You wouldn't notice me if I didn't have it on. And so, you wouldn't notice me unless we, somehow we're in some kind of card game and we're playing at somebody's house, like, game night. But outside of that, you wouldn't notice me if I didn't have all of that stuff on.
That's not true.
That's not true. That's not true.
You're talking to someone who's lived it, though.
Hold on.
So now we're about to kick. No.
Y'all
ain't about to do this.
Can I say something about that? Now.
Yeah, hold on.
I want to say something about that. I want to say something about that because a lot of women. Hold on. A lot of women look at the makeup and all that, think that it's attractive. It really is a sign of weakness. You know what I mean? A lot of men, we see that as insecurity, and you could be preyed on. If you feel like you need makeup, lipstick, nails, and all that to look beautiful, we think y'all look beautiful regardless. We think y'all look beautiful when you get up in the morning. You don't think so.
I love it.
Okay? You don't think so. And when we see women makeup up, dresses all down, a lot of brothers prey on those women.
Some people were born in breath.
You feel what I'm saying? Like a sister with natural hair and no makeup, a lot of brothers would think twice about approaching her. Like, oh, she might be smart, she might have a thing together. But we see them women makeup down, we going smack at them. Easy target. I'm just telling you what real men think.
I'm gonna be a second. Go ahead.
But I agree with that wholeheartedly. I honestly do, because I know. There you go. No, but seriously, honestly, I'm that person. Like, I can't stand when you make yourself up so much. We are visual. We're visual animals. That's what we are. But at the end of the day, the way you present your package is the way we're going to receive it.
Yep.
You understand? So if you're presenting your package, you understand what I mean? If this is what you're putting to me, then I'm not going to try to get to know him at all, because that's what you're presenting to me. And a lot of women in this day and age, not the older women, a lot in this day and age, that's what they believe they have to do to get a man. Like, they have to present their package that way. And not understanding, that's not how, as we go back to it, that's not how you build a foundation.
Right.
Can I say something?
I'm sorry. I know he want to go in on this one. I'm sorry.
And that's the thing I'm teaching my son now. You can't treat every woman the same.
Right.
You have to treat a woman how they treat
themselves.
Okay. I can't take no more.
I swear you was listening to me them years ago. I knew you was listening to me years ago.
I can't take no more. No more.
The floor is yours.
No
brother.
Okay. First things first. He stole my thunder a little bit. Male versus man. That's exactly what we were just talking about. That what you're talking is the male. That's the boy growing possibly into a man, but it's definitely a boy, because a boy wants to play with toys. Right. A man wants to put foolish things away and get to the business. So you know when the transition comes in. You get what I'm saying? So I could, in fact, until you just said something, I honestly paid no attention to what your makeup was, how your hair was done. I absolutely paid. When you came in the door, I saw you when you came in the door, but I saw you as a person. Right. But that's because my focus, business, let's execute, let's get this done.
Right.
But maybe 10 years ago, maybe 50, I may say, Shawty, she came here, just what's going on? Like, maybe.
Right.
But for me, as a grown man, listen, you can put all that on. You can do all that. But if my kids don't have a home-cooked meal, if I'm not eating real cooked food, that's a problem for me. I don't like fast food. So I know there's the woman dynamic.
No, I was they hit my brain. You got to forgive me. I'm just waking up.
There's the woman dynamic, and there's a lot of things going on here because my mind was going so far. So let me just first say, listen, I've had many shows where I've gone off and I've ragged. Not I'm not gonna say rag, but I've honestly spoke to where some may see it as uncomfortable, tense stuff in reference to my wife and our relationship. But for us, it's just real because listen, I don't know what fairy tales they selling y'all on marriage, but it's a fight.
Is it?
Listen, it's a fight. So in understanding a woman, what a woman is, understanding what a man is, we absolutely need each other because where we're strong, they're weak. Where we're weak, they're strong. I think Stan said something in reference to the physical, as far as needing to, and you said
the man has a physical body and the
woman and the sun and the lunar moon. Hold on, bring it together.
Say that again. I didn't hear
the
that.
sun and the lunar moon, as far as the
no, he said the man has a what?
You talking about we talking about in the crib?
See, y'all talking about something. That's why I didn't catch it.
I want to say something
I'm like,
too. So what she was saying that, I'm sorry, Aaliyah was saying that you have to have someone to be able to find that purpose, right? Which is basically the same thing you were saying.
Right, the moon needs the sun.
You two were referring to, as far as what you saw visually, male versus man. Again, it all comes together at some point. You understand it. Right. Now, Bree asked me a question that y'all didn't hear because he said when Sam was talking and he said, we talking? I guess that's basically getting ready to be a wife, right? So then you transition that because we're talking male versus female. A woman has to be a woman before she's a wife. Because to understand what a wife looks like means you have to submit to your role as a woman. But you have to know what that is before you do that. Word. So let's dig. I said I'm gonna be here for a second. So look, check this out. This is a real life situation because I told people like this is who I am. So I said about my wife, rag on her when we have issues. But listen, this woman is the personification of best friend. That's my homie. That's my dog. We've gone through some things. We go through stuff. She's not by any means at all always perfect, no. But in the trenches, even when I'm like, listen, I might be in the trenches. I know how it's going down. We've been at this since we were 15. So understanding that our situation is not Nutty's situation. Our situation is not Sam's situation. I wouldn't tell Nutty, listen, this is the way you got to do. Because I understand as a man, marriage means, well, first and foremost, as a man, I understand you're going to run your own house. But also as a man, I understand that marriage means understanding that it has to be the correct fit. So what happens is you have a lot of people running around here, they want to have kids because they want kids to love them. Or they want to have kids because they want something to call their own. You have a lot of people running around here wanting to get married because they want somebody.
Word.
Just to have, because they don't want people to look at them because they make X amount of money and they feel like they should have somebody. Right. Like live in your truth, shorty. Like everything ain't for everybody. So when it's all said and done, it's about the fit. It's not about the image. It's not about the money. It's not about none of that nonsense. Because when it's all said and done, it's male and female to become man and woman. You must put the childish things away.
That's a fact.
It's called sacrifice. That's why when you talk submission isn't weakness. For a woman to submit is strength because it's understanding that your strength is in submission. You can make this man go from good to great. I'm not even gonna say make. You can help and support this man go from good to great. That is purpose.
I don't. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna jump in to submit because a lot of people don't understand submission.
Yeah,
and so I had to. I always go back to the definition of a word. And when you talk about submit,
I like that.
It goes to send under. Right? And that is the actual Latin root word is sub and mittare. It means to send. So to send under. So when you talk about submission, it's not that you are going to, a lot of people have this thing that, you're beaten into submission. It is an actual coming to agreement of to send yourself under something that you've agreed to do. And so some
the
people,
betterment of it.
some for the betterment of either yourself or the whole.
Right.
And so when you talk about submission, a lot of people don't really understand that's really what it means. They think of it as something bad. And then submission is nothing wrong with submission. You have to agree to be in that submission, and you have to agree to that. And allow yourself to be under that, but you also need to be comfortable with that what you're submitting yourself under.
Hold on. Because herein lies the problem. Where done with that? And I'm sorry, go. Growth is absolutely uncomfortable. This is why this conversation is almost taboo, and so many like some stuff that I want to say, I'm not even saying because I realize. First off, it's a 3-part series, but so I'm gonna save some stuff.
So what's so uncomfortable? I guess what I'm trying to understand is what is so comfortable about really understanding the true meaning of what submission means. What is so uncomfortable?
Not for me. No, not for me.
And so what is so taboo about being told the truth of what a word? I mean, it's a word. Submission is a word.
You have. As a matter of fact, hold on, Stan. I don't know how you feel about that, Sam, but I would say as Sam, because as a man, I believe in not submission and I rule over you, but no, it's not uncomfortable for me. But if you have this conversation in a room full of women, the word submission almost is like, huh?
Oh Lord, I lost my.
I want to say, I think the average woman doesn't realize how powerful they are. In y'all case, there's no such thing technically as submission. There's no more powerful being out here than a woman. No man is greater than his mother.
She has the
First
power
off top, all eggs are females. The universe is majority female.
Right.
So there's no more, like I said, there's no man that's more powerful than his mother. Off the top.
I want to jump on that. As far as, when you said that women don't know how powerful they are because they're not being taught.
Right.
They don't have anyone there to lead them, to show them that they're being taught. And also with that, to be submissive, we're going to jump in that far as if you have a single parent home, how are you being able to show how to be submissive?
We will say we're going to do that.
You understand what I mean? So if you have a single mom, she can't show you, she's showing you the strength and how to raise a family solely by herself, but there's no man there to show you or to have that example set for you. To show that. So, and when you have in this generation, and that I see of the young, because I have, not trying to be funny, because I look a little younger than how old I am actually.
Right. Yeah,
so I have
52, man.
52. Jesus. I have kind of younger women come at me at times, and their mindset is just so amazing to me sometimes. Just like, really?
What?
Like what they think, what I want. And I'm like, I'm at the point in my life I'm looking for a wife, not a one night stand. I've been there. I've been there and done the one night stand thing. I've had that fun.
Can you elaborate? I know I'm not. But can you elaborate when you say you're looking for a wife? Because I'm doing this so everybody understand. Don't just say you're looking for a wife. Say you're looking for a wife, but help me understand what you're looking for in a wife. What does a wife look like? You play boy. Talk to me. I'm putting you on the spot, but talk to me.
No, you're not putting me on the spot. I appreciate it. The brain get to working. What I'm looking for, honestly, you have to be a strong individual to deal with me. I'm looking for a strong woman. I'm not looking for a weak individual. So to complete me and to help me, you have to be just as strong as I am. Because you got to be able to carry it when I drop the ball at times. Because I'm not perfect at all. None whatsoever. But what I'm looking for is she has to be strong. Not necessarily she has to come home and cook, because I do that very well myself. I enjoy cooking for my family. He does all my brother over there does all the cooking for his family. So there's nothing wrong with the male cooking for his family when he comes home from work. So you have to be, and you have to have somewhat of a sick sense of humor with me, because I crack some weird jokes at times. So you have to be that. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm not I'm not trying to set a profile.
Yeah, he said,
but if you see me. But no, but seriously, off joke time. I'm looking for, honestly, we're missing, and that's what I'm looking for. Not my mother in a sense, but that strong black woman.
Right.
That strong black woman. We've lost touch with that. We don't have any more strong black females anymore. It's just
I think the woman is a little bit too strong at times.
You think so?
I can agree with
some
that.
Can be.
Sometimes.
Yeah, they get.
So to what
Go
you
ahead, Pounds.
Elaborate, I do agree with. As you're saying, we don't have those women because, and I don't mean that there aren't women around.
Right.
I'm not saying that there are plenty of women what we're describing that are out there that do this supposed to do every day. So I don't want to take credit from those women that do it to say all women, because that's
Facts.
all
That's my
men
mistake. Yeah.
are dogs. Say how we react to
Right,
that.
because you were about to get it when I was about to get my opening in.
But what happens
It's
is
a slippage of a word.
is that like I remember watching something on TV and it was telling how they attack the black household by attacking the woman. What it is in the video,
That's
how
why
do
I
they
just
make
said
the
that to
woman?
y'all, yeah.
You know, how do
did
they
say
portray
that.
the woman? You
Right.
know, if they portray the woman as somebody that goes out or low class, and then there's a little kid, and I see this, and I'm like, well, this is how a woman's supposed to be. She's supposed to be half naked. She's supposed to be stripping.
Right.
I'm supposed to throw money at. I'm supposed to do this. That is how that deteriorizes, your household. Doesn't necessarily matter if you have a strong mother and she's, because I had a great mother. Probably she worked 2 jobs. So at 11 o'clock at night, she couldn't tell me what I could and could not watch on TV. I had an older sister, and we had a strong presence. My aunt was there when my mother was gone. But once my aunt passed, once again, that it wasn't that my mother wasn't a strong presence, because I never had to beg for any food. I never had to beg for any clothes. Everything I actually needed, she provided. But
Exactly.
you
What you needed, not what you wanted.
yeah. But that being said, there were also strong mothers. If I didn't have a meal on Thursday, I could go to Anthony's house. I could go to Foot's house. I could go to somebody else's house and eat. So there were strong women in the community who actually, to be honest with you, in our community, the women were the ones who held us together.
Yeah, because it's all
think
women.
about it.
Yeah.
Mama Vic,
Miss McComb. Yeah.
We can sit here and talk about all of the guys who did what to protect the neighborhood, but as far as keeping the neighborhood together with that family, it was the women.
But that also goes back to you said it, community, right? We don't have the same kind of community that we did before.
So that's
right?
what we about here.
And so you don't have the same kind of communities. I can tell you, I've lived in my complex for 3 years, and I don't know my neighbor, but that's common. That's not like it was before when my parents were going. I mean, that's where my parents are.
But
Half
that's your
of them.
choice.
That's a choice. Exactly.
But that's a choice. Sometimes it is a language barrier. I will say that. Living where I live is a language barrier for some of us.
Everybody understands the smile. Or
No, but it's not that they don't know who I am. But what I'm saying is, going back to the community to knock on the door and ask for a cup of sugar, I don't know how to say that in India, in Indianese. But I'm going to go back to what you I'm not talking about Spanish. That's not the same thing.
So since we're all in the same
no.
neighborhood, how many of you guys in here remember Richard, the only Spanish person on the whole block, whose mother spoke no English, whose father spoke no English, but they were still out there with us?
And guess what they used to do? They used to come out every day, say, "Y'all want some chicken?"
I'm not saying them make this up. Their family would feed us. And you know what? This is only Spanish family feeding other black kids on the block.
I mean, that's good and all. That's great. And I didn't grow up like that, right? So I grew up in a very rural area. But what I'm getting at to what you were saying is that there's no strong black women. There's no strong mothers.
I've never said that.
Yeah, that's what you said.
That was me.
One of y'all said it. Because I was ready to go. Mm-hmm. But to what you're saying, it's also a lack of community, because at this point it doesn't matter, because we live in more integrated communities now. It doesn't matter if they're black, white, or whatever. You just need a community pillar that's willing to do that.
Hold on. Go ahead.
No, I mean,
that's all I want to speak on, though. When we talking about relationships between us, man and woman, especially in our community, right? And we talking about marriage, right? My question is, are these ideals that we have, are they African, are they ancestral, or are they European? Because
see, that's deeper though, Stan.
No, it's not though. He's
right,
not
but
even.
he's right. So
because a lot of
you were
this,
talking about the half-closed women, if you really think about the oppression that we have suffered, black women when we first came over here were used as the the house basically hoe, right? The master would come in and he would sleep with the black woman, not his wife. We were adored, and even in other countries, even in Italy, the Ethiopian women are treated like that. They like to bring them over there, and they're sex slaves over there. And so a lot of that is oppression that has come through, and we've allowed it to take over our communities. And therefore, you say that women are half dressed, but we haven't gotten rid of that oppressive mindset in our people, and that has to start with the man. Because if you cut the head off the snake, and you cut the head off the snake, it begins with the man.
Right.
Because if he's the head of the household.
Well, let me say this. Because like I said, we kind of veered off from what I was getting at. I was getting at, you know, like a lot of women believe in monogamy, right? And monogamous relationships or monogamous marriage.
But do
They do. I mean, a lot of women do as far as the principle of, oh, I'm going to marry this man. They might have threesomes and stuff until the point of whatever.
Do they believe in monogamy in the sense of monogamy for you to be monogamous and them to do what they want when they feel like it? Or do they believe in monogamy in the sense of, oh, we're really going to do this?
I mean, a lot of women really believe in, like, we're really going to do this. But, I mean, what I'm getting at is the principles of nature. I mean, that's a harder relationship to do than having a polygynous relationship. Having a relationship with more than one partner is easier to do for everybody than to be with one person.
That's why
you know what I mean? Even when you talk about the Bible and all these religious texts, all the people we look up to in the religions, they were all polygynous. They all had multiple wives.
Agreed.
All the way down the line. They didn't live as hard as lives that we do. Like, you know, I hear a lot of, you know, our people talk about, okay, I had my mother, she was working hard, blah, blah, blah. And I had my mother, she was working hard. But back in the day, you would have had, you know, 6, 7 people in one family, one man, 6 or 7 women, and y'all would have been pooling your resources. And after a couple of years, y'all would have basically been wealthy.
But you want to know something? And I mean, I want to let you had things finish up. Yeah, go ahead, because I don't want to.
Well, I mean, yeah, like, honestly, the African ancestral ideal of marriage was harmony between a group. You know what I mean? Like, in ancient times, we had one village who everybody had the same father. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a fact.
It's true.
That is a fact. Even if you look at the Saudi Arabians or whatever, it's 500-some people lying to be the heir to be the next sultan, coming from one common ancestor. You know what I mean? Having many wives.
So listen,
and they all rich.
So I don't think if you I don't know if you heard yourself and if you heard him.
Okay.
But it's funny because how universe spiritual I get connected. So you just said, you know, which clearly we know that they had multiple wives.
Yeah.
Basically, the reason why we're here right now, ironically, like you said, the women held it down. It was multiple wives in the community that believed in God. And you know what the Bible states that Christ is the head, everybody, right? Not to get too biblical, but just being real, like spiritually speaking, like that's what it says, right? We had a community full of women that submitted to the power of God, right? Some not all perfect, because we had some that, you know, none of them were perfect. None of them. But collectively, the respect was there to where my mother, Miss Moore, his mother, Miss Blondie, Miss Maynard, Miss Seeger, Miss North. Like, I'm going down the line because I'm trying to make sure I remember everybody. Literally, Miss Vic, Miss White,
Miss Poteet,
Miss Poteet,
right?
What's Miss Tony,
Miss Green,
Brenda, Miss Green. Come on, man! Like, I can keep, and I'm not just making up names. Like, they can tell you, like, these are all women that either, you know, we sat in houses and ate food, or we had to run from to not get caught doing stuff, because this is what kept us.
They caught me.
And we talk about when you say this is what kept us enclosed. This is what kept us protected from the rest of what everybody else's hood is experiencing right now. You know, so when we look around, like all our brothers still, you know what I'm saying? We however it works. But what you said in terms of not that I'm promoting, that's not where I'm going with this. But I'm saying, like, it's not that far off from what you're saying anciently.
Yeah. I mean,
why we sitting here right now?
You can see it in a lot of things. Like a lot of us don't like it, but pimping. You know what I mean? This is a conglomerate of all these women. No. I'm just saying, as far as using. As far as that principle in modern times, that's like a good example. It's not the best example, but you see
Sonny, man. Shout out to Sonny, man.
To reiterate, I was exposed to that too.
I have to agree with her on the community thing.
Yeah, but back to what he's saying, I was exposed to that, and a lot of that is a lot of mental thing. It's mental issues. Pimping.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, we're not getting into all that.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I want to touch on something because some of y'all was talking about, and I don't want to forget the thought. So, I think what we wind up doing, why I say it's uncomfortable, is we justify our behaviors. We justify the actions we don't take with not saying that's what you're doing. Okay, this is not so the same thing to him yesterday. You know, it's no direct. I just talk like this.
Exactly.
So, if you're looking at it from that standpoint, and you're saying for us to get somewhere, we got to give up something. We got to go through some things. That means the things that are barriers can't be barriers. That means even if it's a barrier.
That's what I'm saying.
So at the end of the day, like if I want change, I can't complain about it if I'm not willing to just say hello when I walk into an elevator to somewhere. I can't, because my energy, my spirit, my light is what reverberates into the world, which is what you put into the world to grow, to bear fruit. So if my light is toxic, if my light is dim or disloyal, what do you think I'm going to bring back? So my fight, ironically, with the different things, whether it be talking about marriage or whatever it is we doing with Abstrakt, is this. Like, man, listen, accountability for me is just looking in the mirror every single day and saying, listen, I could have done better with this choice, that choice. Whether you know about it or you know about it or you, I'm trying to craft the absolute best person that I can be, and not for selfish reasons, because I understand that my energy, my light, what I put into the world is going to give me everything I need, because God provides it. He clearly, if he can grow the grass and feed the birds, if I do what I'm supposed to do from here first, everything else is going to fall in place, and it has. In so many ways, it continues to. And we talk about it on the regular.
Literally, I just went through that. So, I have an excellent job. So, shout out to my job. Just in case y'all watching. Excellent job.
Yeah, ABS, we hooking them every day. He's not talking about his real job. He's talking about ABS. We got an excellent benefit.
You know what? I ain't going there.
I haven't been paid in 3 weeks. Haven't had a check, haven't had a dollar come in.
Oh, you talking about real? I'm sorry.
In 3 weeks. Haven't really been paid. So me, Foots, and me, Jermaine, and Tony were together the other day. And I haven't flipped out. I haven't been mad. Haven't been upset. I literally have had like $15 for like 3 weeks. For like 3 weeks. But no. But I've changed my attitude over the last couple of months and how I, view things and like Foot said, putting out. Like I have been giving money to homeless people, which I normally have never done. But I started seeing people beg for money, ask for food, and I told the guy the other day, no, I don't have no money. I just got $4 back out of the machine. I said, look, I can give him $1. What is it going to hurt me to give him $1 when he wants something to eat? I did it the other day at 7-Eleven, bought a guy some food, came up with the gas station and found $5 on the ground. I only spent $3 doing it. And Foots told me last night, he said, man, what you worried about? Do you need money for something? I sat there and said, no, I don't. He said, we going to Red Lobster and it's endless shrimp there, so you can eat some of the endless shrimp. Listen, you have money to go buy your food. So when I get to the first thing his wife says, man, you want us to buy your dinner? So at no point in time in this 3 weeks have I need. Now, I'm going to need my money job sooner or later. I don't need the money. But like you said, it's what you put out into the world. The older Malcolm wouldn't have seen any of this. I would have been miserable. I would have flipped out, maybe lost my job, and that would have affected my family. But because I'm older, and my mindset is different thanks to the people that I've changed actually in my circle. That does also make a difference.
You have to change the people.
So since I've been putting out good over these last couple of weeks, I've actually received a lot of good. I've never held on to money this long that I know.
So let me, go ahead, because we gotta go. You got, okay. So we got a couple of minutes to sum it up. JD Pooh. Yeah, I know. I'll be about to. So I think I want to kind of just sum this particular part of it up real quick.
Thank y'all for coming.
God bless.
God bless. Right.
When it's all said and done, not that I need to share this, but I think my brother just said something that requires it. Like, so Abstrakt Xcilence, man, is obviously this show, but it's a nonprofit. And I don't know if many of you know, but I've told anybody to listen. Like, I left, Sam knows this. My job, the last full-time job I had was 5 years ago with Sam, and I worked together at CFLS. I've been building this entire thing. Even before any of this came, the nonprofit side of this, with no full-time job, no money. I have friends that have fallen off, some that haven't. But what has changed is my level of faith, my focus, the meditation. These things, putting out the right things, you get back. Whether I have the money or not, it always works out. So for all those that are listening and all those that aren't, understand something. You will always reap what you sow. Treat people the way you want to be treated. At the end of the day, male or female, we need one another. So if we don't get to the point of the uncomfortable conversations that we need to have and stop playing the games and the lies and deceit, you can't. We're gonna get to the rest of it. I'm just gonna say it again.
Can't wait till we talk about
check
love versus
yourself first. Check yourself first before you point the finger, because at the end of the day, your own worst enemy. Your enemy is the person that's in the mirror.
Control.
Anyways, we love y'all. It's Abstrakt Xcilence, baby. Let them know what
Control
time it
yourself.
is. Good night.
Man, make sure you follow my little brother,
yeah,
Pure
matter of fact,
Comedy
hold on.
87 on Facebook,
Do your shout
Instagram
outs.
and YouTube, Twitter, Pure Comedy 87. That's my little brother,
Quickly,
comedian up and
Reverend James Black, man, I appreciate you. We about to do amazing things, y'all. We got some things coming down the pipe.
Shout out to mom, dad, sis, all y'all, whole fam.
Shout out to family, friends, just anybody watching the show, man. Love you, girl. See you soon.
Oh.
Shout out to wifey, son, all my family. Love y'all.
Jaden, you better not be on that phone. We'll see you soon. That's my oldest son that's never here. I'm just joking.
That's what I be digging up on the basketball court.
Yeah, they doing their thing. Jacob, the son over there. Hey, listen, man, I love y'all. I appreciate each and every last one of y'all. Seriously, Abstrakt Xcilence. We about to do some things. Y'all make sure y'all subscribe, tune in, IG, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Go subscribe.
Please.
We need to
Comments below.
Do that now.
Links in comments below.
Thank y'all for coming out.
Yep.
Bub, Leah.
Appreciate
Yes.
y'all inviting us.
Beautiful thing. You got to
Good
come
night
back.
again.
You got to come
Abstrakt
back.
Xcilence.
Yes. We out.
That's
Love
all,
you.
folks.
God bless.
Is that trademark? Can we say that?
Oh, my big toes and I went to sleep. Can I get up from out this corner?
No, you're right.
And when I say thug life, I mean that shit. Cause these white folks see us as thugs. I don't care what y'all think. I don't care if you think you a lawyer, if you a man, if you an African American, if you whatever the fuck you think you are. We thugs and niggas to these motherfuckers. You know? And until we own some shit, I'ma call it like it is. How you gonna be a man if you starve?
When you black in America, when you black in America, this is not for America. I'd rather go to war against my own government. I would never die for America. Black in America, when you black in America, feel trapped in America. Fair shooting first, black lives, they don't give a damn, so you gotta stay strapped in America. Black in America, they don't understand what we go through. I don't give a damn what they told you. They be lying in the media, don't believe none of what you hear, and only half what they show you. Black in America, when you black in America, this is not for America. Black in America, when you black in America, this is not for America. Black in America, cause I'm young and black. I'm destined for jail cells and hearses, Lord, that's all they see for my future. My options, I play ball or rap. They think we not equal to them, well let me be the first one to see all the rules. Cause we ain't got time for the small talk. I come from the city where the crooked niggas dwell. Feds come run away or get put in a cell. Lord show me heaven cause we living in this hell. Trying to stay afloat, still bringing in them bills. Cause it's no jobs for a black man. They see us better as the trap man. Ride strapped in the mad black van. They ain't gotta tell us how to dance for a laugh now. They just kick back, watch us die over crack stand. Somebody help us, please help us now. If they can't control us, they just gun us down. They recruit them soldiers and knowing the war was for nothing, then come home and patrol the towns. And we ain't no better, we don't make it better by killing our neighbors. We idolize paper, we spend it, we chase it. But you ever looked at them bills? These the same motherfuckers who hate us. No, they don't give a fuck about me or you. They tell us shit like stay focused and count your blessings. An honest message is one of the biggest lies that ever been televised. We can start with 9/11. Oh, they sleeping, the truth right here. You can never live a day in these nightcares. We them niggas America might fear. White man, reality is a nightmare when you black in America. When you black in America, this is not for America. I'd rather go to war against my own government. I would never die for America.